Hi, everybody. This is day 1559 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. It was a code red, an internal ordered, that's right, from his leadership. They ordered that he be murdered, and then they proceeded to cover it up. Now, before that happened, they retaliated against him continuously and severely, trying to frame him, to discredit him, to intimidate him. Um, and I believe that that was also extreme, a hate crime against a Christian distinguished honor graduate that was standing up for his beliefs, for what he knew was right. And that is the basis of the reason why we have a military, the creed, why we even call it a creed, um, the duty of a soldier in the United States to protect the to defend the Constitution of the United States, which is a primarily a biblical grounded document. Um, our rights are from our Creator. And to understand our Christian history, the Christian basis, is very, very important. And when I'm talking about Christian, when I'm talking about the Bible, I'm talking about the entire Bible. Uh, and so, I was in this class, um, and I heard the teacher say, "There's one page in the book of the Bible that you can rip out right now." And we're all like, "What?" Yes, it is the blank page that divides the Old Testament with the New Testament. It is one book, one book. And once you hear that, once you understand that, um, you, the New Testament has to, you cannot understand the systematic theology of the New Testament without the Old Testament, okay? So that is why that's so important. And that goes to a lot of what I'm talking about today. I just want to make sure that I'm on. Everything seems to be working because, and I even have this book that I wanted to show y'all. Let me see. It's called Systematic Theology. This is volume one. There's two volumes with this. And I've been talking about that uh, with these podcasts, with these live streams, and about Richard, and that Richard was not the average 18-year-old. Okay, he was not the average 18-year-old. Number one, um, he was an orphan until the age of 5, and so he had some memories. We adopted him when he was 5 from Poland. He has the experiences of being adopted. He has the experiences of different languages, different cultures, coming into a family, having to learn English, having to learn the culture of a new family, um, being baptized, being confirmed, um, embracing the Christian faith. So, that's the beauty of our faith. We have confirmation, which you decide at that time. If that's what you want to do, we have pictures, and I've put that picture up there of his confirmation. Um, and so there was no doubt in my mind when Richard joined the army that he was a Christian. He's a baptized Christian, and so and because of him being homeschooled, because of him growing up in Heidelberg, Germany, of course, in Ramstein area, Germany also, but for the most part in Longford, Ireland. When he became Distinguished Honor Graduate for his cycle, they even said the award for Distinguished Honor Graduate for this cycle. Hold on, I'm getting a little warm. Take this off. Was going to Richard Halliday from Longford, Ireland. You can watch the video. Um, Growing up there and homeschooling and being able to travel uh, and homeschooling and being able to travel and be able to meet different people from different places and learn different languages and um, learn esprit de corps. Rob is absolutely a patriot. To go through 4 years of this and hundreds of letters being submitted. And it's not just getting those letters together, getting those complaints together, getting those open record requests together, getting the uh, all the legal paperwork together, laying the groundwork. But we've had to send them off certified. We've had to make sure that we have proof that they were received. You have to check on that. You have to file all of that. So y- you can't just put up online, a complaint up online. You have to take pictures of what you're doing online because our institutions are not trustworthy and they have to be driven to do their duty. Our our agencies and I'm going to say that again, our agencies and our institutions, our representatives are not trustworthy. They are not trustworthy, okay? They are up to no good. And so, but they are ours, okay? Whether we like it or not, they are ours. And they have to be driven to do their job because they get paid our taxpayers' money. So you have to drive them to do their duty. You cannot throw your hands up and give up and let them be criminals and let them rob us. You have to make them do the work. And so, in order to do that, you have to document even that you're submitting your filings, your findings, your criminal complaints, and everything, and have receipts for even um, uh, your communications with the agencies and institutions. And so, at the very beginning, we didn't totally understand that. And as time went by and we saw more and more corruption, more and more weaponization of our Department of Justice, of our FBI and CID, and of our military, and started to understand how this was a military operation against our son, a code red, um, to retaliate against him, ruin him, and then and then murder him, and then um, do the cover up of his murder. Um, you know, Once we understood all of that, you know, we, we had to figure out how we were going to get justice for our son. Um, the first move that we made was to fight the narrative, the false narrative that was put out there by the media, given to the media by the military and the law enforcement community that was given this information at the smear campaign by the small rogue, well, I shouldn't say it's that small, but the rogue criminal group from the original response team. And so, if you want to know who it is the rogue criminal group from the original response team. And this group is connected to the Walmart mass shooting group. And the orchestration of that. That's what we believe, because all of the evidence points to that. There is the same fingerprints, so to speak, the handiwork of the criminal group. Okay, so we have enough evidence from the rogue criminal group to compare that evidence with what's going on in the Walmart mass shooting case, and they fit. The glove fits, and so we believe that whoever helped Patrick Crusius, whoever orchestrated and then aided Patrick Crusius in the Walmart mass shooting, is also involved in um, our son's case and what happened to our son. And so that um, is the case. You know, we started out, let's see, seems to be, I'll wait for a signal. I'm not getting a signal from Facebook. I don't know if the other signal is on. It seems like I'm on the other platform, so I'll keep going because this is here. I'm back now. So this is really important to connect the two cases, and so we started off just trying to set the record straight about our son's character, about who he is, and I think we did a pretty good job on that. And then, of course, we started to identify this rogue criminal group, right, and address the attacks on us, which is an attack on Team Find Richard Halliday, which is an attack on Richard's case. And one of those individuals is Bob Moore. Bob Moore, it's very interesting to see him in the last couple days side with convicted criminals, right? Convicted criminals with Patrick Crusius. He's siding with Patrick Crusius, this mass murderer. And and I want to tell you why he's doing that. Okay, I want to give you some motives, what we believe are his motives behind supporting convicted criminals like Leilani Hart, like Luis Rene Diaz, like Patrick Crusius, like criminal, even accused of assault, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. Why he is siding with this rogue criminal group, right? Which is Amber Chase, right? And more and more. It's a pretty vile, vulgar sex cult, rogue criminal group, okay? And sex is all over it, okay? Which needs to be said, because they're pretty vile and vulgar. Why is he siding with them? Well, number one, Bob Moore is claimed to be the founder and editor of El Paso Matters. Now, until recently, was the editor. Now, they made a move to replace him, but he's still over there. And, you have to remember that Bob Moore is the one that attacked our son's case, attacked us, a Gold Star family. So he's siding with convicted criminals, convicted mass murderer, uh, you know, compromise with the cartel, Rene, Luis Rene Diaz, and that's extortion. He was brought up on charges of extortion. And of course, then you have Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, who was under investigation for receiving Walmart victims funds, um, and her connection with Westar Bank, which is El Paso Community Foundation, and doing that fraudulently because she claimed to be a widow of one of the victims when she indeed had been divorced from him since 2001. So, that was under investigation under Yvonne Rosales, which gives you the mode, when you see why Bob Moore was involved in the removal and replacement of Yvonne Rosales, that's scheming, right? And when you see why he sided against, uh, the Distinguished Honor Graduate Fort Bliss murdered soldier for whistleblowing on child trafficking, Richard Halliday, and the Gold Star family, and the whistleblowers. These are more than just Richard, the whistleblower in the Walmart mass shooting case, a whistleblower in Richard's case, um, and how Leilani Hart is mainly part of the Walmart mass shooting case. And this is something new that we're revealing to everybody, but that is absolutely true. She's part of the Walmart mass shooting case, okay? Leilani Hart, this is Dallas Hart's mother. This is the prime suspect. Both of them are prime suspects for the murder of our son Richard. You have Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, whose family member is Danae Katz and Bliss Avenue, and they're all connected, right? So, what is the big motive? What is the big connection? Well, Bob Moore is said to be the founder and and the editor for El Paso Matters. But where did he get the funding to do that? And that was El Paso Community Foundation. So El Paso Community Foundation is his support system, and El Paso Community Foundation's bank, because they're a big organization, and for all those funds they have to have a bank, and that bank is Westar Bank. So Westar Bank and El Paso Community Foundation is really behind El Paso Matters. And El Paso Matters then is going to protect its interests, right? Well, if, Yvonne Rosales wants to make enemy of El Paso Community Foundation and Westar Bank, just to do an investigation into the Walmart mass shooting victims funds that came in droves of donations and government funds, came in droves, millions of dollars. And that made Westar Bank very happy to keep that money, that funding. And then but Yvonne Rosales said, hey, hold on, we're seeing some irregularities, we're seeing some things that are not right. Why is Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia receiving tens of thousands of dollars from the victims fund when she's not a victim? And why is she made into this fake witness into the Walmart case? She's not a witness into the Walmart case. She was in Mexico. So there was an investigation into El Paso Community Foundation for its distribution of funds. We have found out through our investigation, seemingly this is not the first time they have been investigated for, very questionable distribution of funds, and it seems like back then, Rosa Maria Valdez's Garcia's ex-husband was involved in that case of fraud, being accused of fraud in the distribution of funds from the El Paso Community Foundation, which is Westar Bank, right? Which is Westar Bank. So, and I think Westar Bank came into being. All of that timeline is very necessary to look at, and when that all came to being, and this and that during that time. So that would be very important for investigators, for defense and prosecution to look into, for them. And they have a lot of money, millions and millions, maybe billions of dollars, so they can afford a good counsel. Um, and so Bob Moore, really depending on his livelihood on El Paso Community Foundation and West Star Bank, is absolutely going to protect Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Leilani Hart. These are criminals. They're criminals, uh, and um, he even used Leilani Hart as an unreliable source to attack the whistleblower for the Walmart mass shooting case and for Richard Halliday's case, our son's case. And he also used that to obstruct justice in our son's case. And why? Because she's a prime suspect in the case for the murder of our son, Richard Halliday. So the prime suspect for the murder and cover up of the murder of our son, Richard Halliday, was used as an unreliable source to obstruct justice in our son's case. I mean, wrap your head around that. That is, you're going to have to say it 3 times real fast to understand the implications of that. Um, because I don't know any other case that's like that uses the prime suspect for murder and cover up in a whistleblower soldier's case as the uh, unreliable, confirmed convicted criminal, Leilani Hart, to obstruct justice in that very case, right? But she's also um, involved in the Walmart mass shooting case. And that is really, really important. So when you understand where the money is coming from, where the power is coming from, because the money is coming from power. When you have billions of dollars and you have your own bank, and you're controlling um, distribution of huge donation funds, and I'm sure, from others also, and then also connected to the Mormon congregation, because the Mormon congregation uh, has, I mean, they are so wealthy. They're like 6 times more wealthy than Apple Corporation. They are huge, huge, And so, and when all of this is connected to Richard's whistleblowing of criminal trafficking, and that criminal trafficking going over the very border where, a stronghold of the Mormon congregation, um, that that's very suspect. It's very, very suspect, and it gets even more and more suspect. And that's why the last couple days I wanted to make sure that we made it very, very clear that they wouldn't have any problems um, retaliating against a Christian. That this criminal group, this is a rogue criminal group. There is an underlining common denominator, several common denominators, one of them being the Mormon congregation, and of course, very sex cult, very, I would say it's very um, a very dark faith. There's a lot of witches, a lot of like occult activity, and because of the dismemberment of our son, because of him being placed in different areas and not being able to get our son's remains, because that's evidence and that reveals what happened to him. Um, you know, this is, they would have no problems um, in the violence that we are absolutely alleging here. They would have no problems engaging in this kind of violence that we are alleging here. Okay? Um, they are not a Christian group. They're not a group of peace. They're not a group of love. This is a hate crime. This is an absolute hate crime. And it's intertwined with some politics, and those politics uh, that they're intertwined with, because don't forget that they were intertwined with Ernest Christopher Grant, Chris Cuomo, with Beto O'Rourke. Um, they were absolutely pushing a narrative that was against Donald Trump. And here we have I'm mentioning that now because we have this election coming up, and I feel like it's very important for people to understand that Veronica Escobar, um, if she's not part of this rogue criminal group, because I believe she very well may be, um, she absolutely is complicit. Okay, so this Beto O'Rourke, this West Star Bank, this Veronica Escobar, who is known, she probably gets some funding from West Star Bank and El Paso Community Foundation. Um, you know, this group is absolutely a political group because they want power, and I'll tell you why. So the Walmart mass shooting, it's over 5 years now. It's been really a disgust and a disgrace. And they have confirmed now and even admitted to these backroom deals. These are illegal backroom deals. And what were they wheeling and dealing for? They were dealing and sealing that Patrick Cruz could not have a mental health evaluation, that needed to be blocked at all sides, that he could not get, that a medical examiner, like a nurse practitioner, could not go to him and do a mental health evaluation on him. Okay? Very important that they would block that. Now, this was between Joe Spencer and Judge Medrano. Um, of course, another wheel and deal and seal, illegal backroom deal and seal, was to delay the Walmart mass shooting case. Why would they want to do that? Because they didn't want evidence to come out, because the evidence is overwhelmingly suspect of their narrative. And so I should have said that one first, but then this other one about blocking Patrick Crusius's mental health evaluation is huge right now. It is so big. And because there's a lot of public information coming out right now that, we're very interested, because this case is um, covering Richard Halliday's truth. That's how we say it, Richard Halliday's truth. And so the mental health evaluations for a long time were kept from Patrick Crusius until 2023. So they were very right to be afraid, to not like that Yvonne Rosales won the election and was the DA, because that moved the case, a bit. They removed her and replaced her. It put a lot of eyes on the case. Okay? That whole thing with Yvonne Rosales put a lot of eyes on the case. And to show to show something, to do a dog and pony show, Bill Hicks hired Loretta Lynn Hewitt. Now, so we believe that it was through her leadership, since she resigned in disgust because she had definitely information. She wanted to move the case forward, and Bill Hicks said, no, this is only for politics. Um, Loretta Lynn Hewitt did not accept that, and she resigned in protest. And we believe that's why we believe that when the mental health evaluation was done on Patrick Crusius, it was because of her. That's what we suspect. Um, Maybe the jail, but we believe it was because of her. And so this happened in 2023. Um, it was a nurse practitioner. And what's happening right now in the case is who, why did they want to block the report, the mental health report? And what does the mental health report say? Okay, because it is damning. It is damning. There's no other way to look at it, um, because what is going on right now is 18 subpoenas, and those 18 subpoenas um, show that what they're worried about is all of those involved, especially the nurse practitioner, what they found out with the mental health evaluation time that was spent with Patrick Crusius, what he said to them, what the report reveals. This is where they're focusing, because we know that the family of Patrick Crusius, with the neighbors, knew that Patrick Crusius had severe autism, that he was, this was what was reported by the neighbors at 3 years old out in the neighborhood, banging his head against the sidewalk. Um, so he was not in good shape. And from my experience, now I'm a trained educator, okay? I'm a trained educator. I'm not coming from nowhere. Most of the time I say, I'm just a mom, I'm just a wife. In this respect, I'm a trained educator, and I was very interested in special education and early childhood education. That's my love. That is absolutely how to teach children, how to meet them where they're at, to move them forward, right? To move them forward, and make their life better. Make them able to learn for themselves. This is, if they learn how to read well, if they learn how to do simple calculation and logic operations in their head, if they learn how to do fine motor skills like writing, and also to formulate their argument, and document their argument, then they can learn for life, right? Then they can learn for life. So you have the grammar, you have the logic, you have the rhetoric, and then you have the debate stage. And so if you learn those, you can learn for the rest of your life. And that has been uh, my calling, my love, to be able to share that and use those skills that I've learned. And looking at Patrick Crusius, it was, that's just, I can't turn that off. That's who I am. I evaluate very quickly how to meet this person where they're at. And I absolutely right from the beginning, I was very honest with every one of you. I said, it seems to me, and knowing that Patrick Crusius has already been convicted through a plea deal, okay, through a plea deal, for 1,000 years in prison, of this mass shooting, of the weapons, of hate crime, and that. So I know this, and I was, looking at him, evaluating him. I cannot turn that off. That's who I am. And I'm like, he has autism. He's autistic. He needs to be evaluated because I believe he's autistic. And I said that, and Bob Moore came on to my live stream and wanted to debate me on that one. He wanted to debunk me and debate me on that. So I have that. He absolutely knew that Patrick Crusius needed a mental health evaluation, and at that time he already did. I think Bob Moore already knew, and that was their soft spot. That was their trigger point, and now we know it was their trigger point. um, Patrick Crusius's mental health is their trigger point. And I'll tell you why. Um, I did put out about his net worth. I feel like this is a tampered document, his application for counsel. Um, millions of dollars for Joe Spencer. Okay. It was approved. And, when you know that he was living very well, and with his college expenses and his living expenses and his car and the internet and all of those expenses put together, that he would have to be, 70 to 100,000. I put 100,000 down because college is so expensive today with food, and food is so expensive today. Gas is expensive. All of his expenses. Um, it would be it could reach $100,000 a year that he would need. So, and yet on the application they put 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, like he's not worth any money at all. Doesn't have any resources at all, and he got approved. And that is very fishy to me. That's so stinky, very stinky to me, because online when you look him up, he's worth 1 to 5 million. I don't know if he has a trust fund. He comes from a pretty wealthy family. Why they've deserted him? They seem like they have deserted him. I know that when I was in a classroom taking care of autistic children, I I did experience parent fatigue, where the parents are like, just take my kid. I just can't do it anymore. I understand that kind of parent fatigue. So I don't know if that happened in this case. I'm just saying it exists. And I don't see his parents. I don't see his twin sister, and that's concerning. That's very concerning. And then to say that he's just kind of living on the streets because he's not worth a cent. He wasn't living on the street. He was living, and not even in a low class apartment. He was living in a pretty posh apartment in San Antonio, and you know but the curious point about his case is that his car that he used to surrender himself, to drive all the way, supposedly all the way from San Antonio to El Paso, which is, really hard to believe. And that costs a lot of gas money, right? Um, and you're just thinking, what's his motive? The motive doesn't line up at all. Um, unless you're thinking politics, right? Uh, so everything is pretty stinky, and when you're autistic, I don't think you think the broader picture of politics either, right? So that whole manifesto is pretty stinky to me. Uploading it just before he supposedly committed the crime, and I believe he did. This whole, um, but I don't think he was alone. I don't think he was alone at all. And I don't even know what kind of crime he committed. I think everything is very questionable now. Uh, but they did give him this funding, um, without, and I think it's very stinky how they approved that application, and then not even with a mental health evaluation soon after, because clearly he wrote his name, he signed his name on there, and his fine motor skills. What this tells you when you read handwriting is his fine motor skills were very lacking. And that is normal for somebody with severe autism. Their fine motor skills are very lacking, and even their bodily care is very lacking. So they're, it's just impossible for the narrative that they gave out through the media to be the truth. It is just absolutely impossible. And I think what we're seeing right now with this confirmation of the backroom deals that are illegal, absolutely illegal, between Judge Madrano and Joe Spencer, that, Joe Spencer, we've been paying him because this is state and federal funds, so it's every American. Um, what we have been paying him is millions of dollars to stop this case from moving forward and to make this plea deal uh, with the federal government. He's being tried federally and in the state, which is, kind of like double jeopardy for me, but according to the law, it's not. So, maybe I don't understand everything, but he's being tried twice for the same thing, once federally and once in the state. And uh, during the federal, they did not get the death sentence. They made a plea deal for this 1,000 years. And when you really think about that, wait a minute, 23 people murdered in cold blood, and it being, a hate crime, and then having the manifesto and everything, and they plea deal? What's that about? What's that about? So that is very questionable also. And then now, Joe Spencer is trying to do it again. He doesn't want the death sentence, right? And I don't think Bill Hicks wants the death sentence either, because he's not, moving forward either. And he's a usurper. He's a usurper. They have a usurper in there, and they haven't even brought up that this is an entirely botched case. Um, I think they got very greedy. They got very, very greedy. They should have plead out. And I am not a lawyer, but they should have plead out very early. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think they ever intended him to get the death penalty. Because the death penalty is an automatic appeals, automatic, sorry, scrutiny on the case. That means a lot of outsiders would have to look at the case if it was a death penalty. They never wanted him on death row, and I don't know. I know that there's been um, like suicide attempts or whatever. This one to $5 million. Is it a trust? What are the whole circumstances around that? If it is one, um, is it true that he's worth $1 to $5 million? There's just so many questions there. And the delay is making more and more sense. Um, so many, so many reasons why it makes sense. And why is it important for us? Because the people that orchestrated this, that are covering this up, that are delaying this, that are participating in this, that have schemed to remove and replace Yvonne Rosales, um, to weaponize the system and the media to for Bob Moore, who's absolutely part of this criminal group. Okay, yeah, we've identified him. Bob Moore, Bill Hicks, um, Justin Underwood, Leilani Hart, Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, Danae Katz. I mean, I can go on, who we've identified as part of this rogue criminal group. Um, and it's kind of shocking, right? Oh, Penny Hamilton, Judge Penny Hamilton. She's absolutely part of it. And, so, and we believe that she's the one for warrants and subpoenas on the civilian side that in our son's case. Um, and she's up to no good. She's not even a legit, right? She's illegitimate, no authority judge. She was not even elected, sitting on a court that required an election. So, this gets a little complicated there, but you have to realize you have so many illegitimate individuals that say they have authority that don't have authority committing these crimes. And that Bob Moore is siding with them. He is siding with the Penny Hamiltons, with the Luis Rene Diaz's, with the Leilani Hart, with the Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, these criminal groups, and compromised by the cartel, right? And targeting a whistleblower soldier, a Gold Star family, a murdered soldier, a whistleblower in the cases. I mean, really? That you can see that he is using the media to cover for a criminal, rogue criminal group. And what is the motive? Um, El Paso Community Foundation and West Star Bank. So, and when you know that Richard was reporting on criminal trafficking, and that criminal trafficking makes a lot of money, and that money has to go somewhere. It has to be laundered, and then it has to go somewhere. Then this all makes sense. And when you see that they did not, the way they're handling Patrick Crusius, how he does it, I'm thinking he doesn't even have the fine motor skills to do. That picture of him, it's, wow. Look at his signature. You have to have the mental capacity and the physical capacity to pull off a crime like that. And no way could even a person with the mental and physical capacity pull that off alone. We don't have that many Rambos, right? We don't have, who's that, Liam Neeson and Left Behind. We don't have too many of those in real life. Those are just in the movies, right? In order to do something like that, and then to delay, and make a plea deal. And then when you think about it, why are they making plea deals when the community wanted peace? And that peace, as in systematic theology, comes from the law enforcement, right? Meaning identifying the crime, documenting the crime, prosecuting the crime, and the will to prosecute the crime and get accountability, right? That's how you get peace. That's how you get peace. There's a system for it. There's absolutely, call it a formula. There's a formula for it, you know, And we all, the community wants peace, and the victims want peace. Um, and they want restitution. Of course, they want restitution. Um, but, it has to be right. And so for us to get peace, we've been doing the identifying, documenting, filing, and now it's the willingness to get the accountability, to get our son's remains back, and that accountability, and that gives us peace. That would give us peace. Because the way they wanted to do it is here's the death certificate, here's the receipts for it, for the insurance and that. Now we're going to briefly mention his name in a memorial, but we'll leave all of the crime there, and you go off on your way, right? Uh, no, that's not peace. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Can you imagine? Um, they're just so criminal, and they want to bring a nightmare to all of us. And being so close to the election, and I normally, don't really try to get into it, but I'm really praying that Donald Trump gets in there. And why? Because we know that our system has to be driven to do the right thing. And what is the chances that we will have more success in driving them to give us peace? Which one? Which one is going to get us accountability, get us our son's remains? And we believe that would be the Donald Trump administration, because we've had 4 years of this other one, that we have been filing, 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 filing. And yes, we have had a lot of success, but at hundreds of systematic trying to um, develop a strategy to for from all directions to force them to um, do the right thing. And yes, we did get the declaration of death. Thank God we got that. But the, I don't think people will ever know, because it's really hard. It would take me 4 years to explain the retaliation, what they've done to us, the obstruction, the mind games, the asymmetric warfare. That's not a joke from us. I wasn't saying that as a joke or to be dramatic or anything. I'm telling you, the operatives, the messages, the meetings, the dealings with our representatives, with the FBI, with the um, uh, generals, and everything. It was asymmetric warfare. The absolute lying to our face, the smear campaign on our son, the CID cold case. Oh, we're going to put him in cold case, and the tampering with our son's file, the tampering with uh, just about everything in the case, his photograph for the Interpol, and of course, the whole court thing. Um, I just can't even express to you uh, what we've had to do to get to this point. And so, we are absolutely endorsing uh, Donald Trump for president as Team Find Richard Halliday, because we feel that we will have a greater chance of success for peace in our son's case. Um, and I hope everyone understands that, because it has been absolutely hell to force some of these people um, to do the right thing. What we pay them to do. Where's Christine Wormuth? Where is Austin? Where is, we didn't even get a letter from Sean Bernabe of condolences. The lying criminal. He is such a lying criminal. And he was, under this administration, given a third star. They have protected Donna Martin. She is absolutely a danger to our soldiers, our service members. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. None. And Bill Hicks to cut off um, communications with us before we even knew he was a usurper. And then now it's like, well, you're a usurper. And even a usurper, you have to, um, I guess, drive them to do the right thing to get the heck out of there. And Yvonne Rosales needs to be a Joan of Arc and just get on that horse, put on her full armor of God, get on that horse and go right up and be the prosecutor that she is, because she is, just for the next few days, I guess, few, well, to the election, but maybe she has beyond that. She just has a little time left and to get peace, because for her, that would give her peace. I believe that would give her peace, even in the fight, because when you're in the right, you have peace. So I hope that makes sense. And Bob Moore absolutely has a double standard, but it really is very obvious when you know about El Paso Community Foundation. When we found that out, that was like a huge understanding of the entire two cases. Um, when we found out that El Paso Matters depends on the funds of El Paso Community Foundation and West Star Bank. So that is the motivation. He works for them. He works for them. And when you know that Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia is connected to West Star Bank and El Paso Community Foundation, and we absolutely suspect that Leilani Hart is also, because of course Rosa Maria, they're connected, right? They're connected, and they're connected even legally. They're connected legally, and they're connected to the Walmart case, and they're connected. Also, both of them targeted our son's case. Um, it all makes sense. Um, they schemed, they orchestrated some major crimes and deadly crimes. And so we're identifying it, and now we need the next part of the peace um, formula, and that is the accountability. So thank you so much, everyone. Um, I think Joe Spencer, I created a meme falling through the thin ice. I think they're on thin ice. I think that Joe Spencer absolutely fell through the ice. He's trying now, he could have done this at the beginning. He's trying now to end this case because he just has to plead his. He cannot get the death penalty. Nobody wants the death penalty because that would open up for the appeal, automatic scrutiny of all the evidence in the case. They want to plead deal. They want to end this, close this up, try to save their backsides. I think Joe Spencer right now, it's too late for him. He was too greedy. All of that state and federal money coming in for his very criminal defense of Patrick Crusius. Um, it was just too easy of money for him, and he thought he would never get caught. But he just got too greedy, and now he has absolutely been caught in these illegal backroom deals. And yeah, so I think he has fallen through the ice. Okay. His uh, can he be saved by Judge Madrano since they are connected with the backroom deals? I just don't think so. I think Judge Madrano's hanging on by a thread by but they are absolutely connected by that rope. Um, and that, so in my mind, I put that together so everyone could get an illustration of what's in my mind. I think that Judge Madrano might be pulled down by Joe Spencer. I should have probably made Joe Spencer a little fatter, so that the weight you could see, or maybe put a weight on Joe Spencer, the weight of his greed that's pulling him down into the water. Um, yeah, maybe I could add that to him, but I think that they have fallen through the thin ice, especially Joe Spencer. Um, he's just so unethical, and he's connected to Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. Absolutely, they're connected. And so, maybe I should put Bob Moore on there. Bob Moore has really showed his colors, his stripes, with the latest article. I can't believe, he's under investigations, y'all. He's under investigations, and yet they're like, oh yeah, he's still El Paso Matters. No, no, that he is absolutely unreliable, and he showed his true colors by defending Patrick Crusius, while showing double standards to our son, the Gold Star, attacking the Gold Star family. Um, yeah, it's very, very clear. So thank you so much. And remember, you know, the files for Richard were tampered with. Okay. So, that's very important. You can't just use his files. Um, you have to get it all and really evaluate it all, because it's like, well, where's this? Where's that? What happened here? What happened there? They're extremely tampered with. And um, because this is a cover up, because it is a cover up from a CID agent, is a suspect in the murder of our son, Tamita Nusa. So, the law enforcement is trying to cover this up, and um, yeah, it is a rogue group, criminal group from the original response team. So thank you so much. God bless you. Please share this, and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you, Anicia. Thank you, Marilyn, for coming on. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love.